In the news tonight, as the regional council elections knock at the door, the Northwest and Southwest regions with their published list of representatives may just be at the center of attention thanks to the special status granted to the regions. The back-to-school frenzy and hustle hits its denouement in under 48 hours as pupils, students and teachers go back to school Monday for the start of the 2020-2021 school year. Plus, the production of milk in Cameroon is expected to rise in the coming weeks with the importation of a special breed of dairy cows from France. Good evening and welcome to the 7:30 News. I am Benin Bumagana in Yaoundé.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
Let's start talking about the December regional council elections. And following the publication of the list of candidates accepted for the category of representatives of the national regional councils, national upcoming regional councils, the Northwest and Southwest regions may just be at the center of attraction with the opportunities a special status offers the House of Chiefs. Beatrice Losamba says Ngokutunja in the Northwest region is the only division with two lists. Her report.
In the Southwest region, their fate seems to have been sealed already. All 6 divisions have deposited a list each of candidates for the category of traditional rulers' representatives. Featuring among the list heads are Chiefs Asabaton Fontem Njifo of the BLM, Oben Orok Godson of Manu, Monono Etina Emmanuel of Fako, Atem Ebako Bisong, head of list for Kupe Manenguba, Chiefs Ndo Obase Oscar for Meme, and Sangi Esiani John for Dintian. Boyo, Donga Mantung, Menchum, Mezam and Momo divisions of the Northwest each have a list approved for the category of traditional rulers' representatives. Only one division, Ngokitunja, has 2 approved lists, headed by Fon Yakum Kevin Turvi and Zofo Abubakar. The heads of list are Fons Njong Gilbert of Boyo, Jabumfo Ibrahim of Donga Mantung, Fon Bambi III of Menchum, Fon Ankwafo III of Mezam, and Fon Fomba Richard of Momo. But there is still a possibility 4 rejected lists of the Northwest region are re-established after pre-electoral litigations. Lists which were rejected either because they were incomplete or because some of their candidates did not comply to required terms.
Let's talk back to school now. With just about 48 hours to go, there are parents still pushing for a place in one of the many public and private schools. Alice B. of the Central News Desk visited some schools and now tells us the story of parents who still believe in last-minute preparations.
There are some parents at the government bilingual high school in Kondongo still hoping to obtain space for their children for the new school year. However, this seems difficult as the new system put in place by the government permits only 50 per class.
I want my child to obtain a place at Lycée d'Nkondongo. We know it is not easy, especially with the new system, but we are waiting.
Faced with pressure from parents, school administrators say they are doing their best to advise parents to seek admission for their children in private institutions.
The effectiveness had already been respected since the writing of these entrance exams into Form 1. We have opted for the 2-shift system. We answer the parents simple and send them to our colleagues who are managing private schools.
To obtain a free COVID-19 pandemic school year, school administrators and parents are obliged to respect government's prescribed measures.
And with few hours to go to the resumption of classes for the 2020-2021 school year, schools in Yaoundé especially are making last-minute touches for the new term. Victor Siga visited some schools to see how prepared they are in this report.
At Collège Bilingue Monseigneur Henri Vite, all hands get active for the last touches ahead of Monday.
We already had our general assembly and the teachers already have their timetables prepared with didactic materials to come and teach. On Monday, we have already shared out school uniforms.
It is a different scenario at Collège des Sapins and Collège Bilingue France Fanon, where they are far from being ready. Classrooms are being cleaned and disinfected, while newly constructed as well as old building receive fresh coat of paint.
Just some little things that they are putting in order. The classrooms are already set, and we have also put in place the barrier measures, which are also set.
Parents in a mad rush to seek admission for their kids flood the establishment.
Those who are coming later, that's the problem. That's why you see so many people around, that the principal is about to see what to do about it.
At Government Bilingual High School, Anguissa, as well as the group scolaire La Mafé, a timid atmosphere reigns. In general, schools in Yaoundé are ready for Monday.
Less than 48 hours to the new school year, some parents still face difficulties finding textbooks in bookshops. And in order to address the situation, the National Council for the Approval of Textbooks and Didactic Materials has held a press conference, press briefing in Yaoundé to shed more light on the situation and to reassure parents on the availability of textbooks in the days ahead. Let's now listen and watch the Vice President of the National Council for Textbooks, Professor Rosalind Mutia, in the following excerpt.
The books are available. Most of them are available now in Cameroon. Some of them have to be removed from the port and then distributed. Some have arrived today, and some will be arriving in a day or two. We will be able to enhance credibility so that the books that have arrived are easily distributed.
It is rush hour in almost every city and town of the country as the new school year takes off come Monday. Motor parks, train stations and bus agencies are receiving greater numbers of students and parents traveling to other towns to resume school. Constantine Bomb visited some motor parks and bus agencies and captured the ambience for the news.
We got to this transport agency at Nvan by midday. We were told 4 buses had left already to Douala and the southwest. Before the day runs out, about 8 more 70-seater buses will be needed, as today's influx of passengers has to do with Monday's official schools reopening.
Yesterday I called in Boya that they should send me buses because I have a lot of passengers today that will travel to go down to Boya today. Before you should pay the car, you must have your cash name.
The measures fall short of making all passengers happy.
The space is not enough for them and they have so many customers.
Being at the park since morning waiting to travel, there are not enough buses and the buses are even coming, they waste time to leave.
We shall be experiencing more traffic congestion in Van, which hosts many transport agencies, as the buses keep getting in and out of Yaoundé. Not much traffic in the BMRC neighborhood, as most of the agencies do the night journey. In the Tongola neighborhood, transport agencies have made the efforts to get more buses, but fall short in getting comfortable waiting accommodation as well as tickets sales points.
And over in the Southwest region, a special campaign to encourage parents to send their children to school come October 5 has taken place in Bangem in the Kupeng-Mwanengoba division. The campaign is organized by the Divisional Delegate for Decentralization and Local Development for Kupeng-Mwanengoba in partnership with some organizations that promote peace. Details from the CRTV Southwest.
The population of Bangem came out with placards denouncing separation and ghost towns. They are calling for an effective school resumption come October 5th.
I felt it necessary that calling for back to school campaign will give me the opportunity for me to know the population in which I am to work with.
The special sensitization campaign on back to school was organized under the theme, Nations are not born, they are built. Let us build our nation, Cameroon, with educated people. The population of Bangem was reassured that scholarship will be given to children who have lost their parents during this socio-political crisis faced in the Anglophone regions by the Divisional Delegation of Decentralization and Local Development in partnership with the Global Peace Initiative Promotion Foundation.
Nursery schools in Gaundere, that is in the Adamawa region, are actively preparing for the 2020-2021 school year with special focus on barrier measures against the COVID-19. Registrations are going on and officials are also laying emphasis on the measures to keep children safe from coronavirus. Elise Waji visited some nursery schools in Gaundere, now reports.
Officials of various nursery schools in Gaundere will have to go an extra mile this school year to keep the children safe from the coronavirus.
Dealing with the kids, they must teach them how to wash their hands after going to toilets or after playing.
In some nursery schools, officials say there will be no breaks given that such moments are marked by high interaction which can facilitate the spread of the virus.
The children, each of them should have their water containers with water inside to avoid them from begging from one another. We are also going to make sure that we maintain intensive hygiene with the toilets.
Nursery education stakeholders here affirm that parents must keep fear aside and be reassured as schools have been disinfected with the implementation of various measures for the safety of the younger ones.
Let's get to one of the villages to see how they are preparing. Schools and colleges in the country will reopen on Monday for the new school year. And in the Center region, Ewane Pole visited a village in the Leke division to see how prepared they are for the new school year. Here is his report.
Youngsters in the Eyene Mvokfuda, Overabang and Kol Ebasimbi villages in Sa Leke division of the Center region are getting set for school resumption, although their parents are complaining of financial hardship.
Our children have not the schooling needs because the family is poor. The parents will harvest cocoa first before buying exercise book.
I'm trying to buy their books and to register them in school. I want if government can you help me for send the children at school.
Education officials in the municipality are back on campuses
to prepare our teachers to be ready. According to the COVID-19, we have taken another measures. We have water for children to wash their hands. People are not very ready. I have just those of last year in my list.
With this, there is hope that some pupils and students in these rural localities will resume classes on Monday, October 5, 2020, like their peers in the towns and cities of the country.
And some of the privileged kids of school-going age in an orphanage in Ese, in the Mefu and Afamba division of the Center region, have received school materials from the Association of Women Entrepreneurs known as North-South. As Gerald Nanje Yambe reports, the association has also been relentless in the campaign against the COVID-19 pandemic. Here is the report.
As part of their humanitarian campaign, the Association of Women's Entrepreneurs, North-South, continue to reach out to the underprivileged. On the eve of the start of the school year, they have donated didactic material to this orphanage at Ese in the Mefu and Afamba division of the Center region.
Just before the reopening day, we came with some furniture for our children, for our orphans. You know, they are the future of our country.
We are grateful to the association for providing us with our school kids.
A few months ago, these heroines of entrepreneurship supported the fight against COVID-19 in a health district at BMRC through the donation of anti-COVID-19 kits.
The University of Bamenda has started the gradual process of awarding diplomas to graduating students of the 10th batch of the institution. University of Bamenda's Vice-Chancellor Professor Teresia Nko Akenji says the gradual process is in response to government's efforts to tackle the coronavirus pandemic in the country. Eric Langmia-Wofo reports.
1,500 of them who have braved the socio-political crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic to earn a diploma in teacher training.
What actually kept me going was the Holy Spirit, because actually I have God in me and He led me through. And so I kept studying.
It was not really easy to study here, but the school was able to adjust things and permit us to have a good training.
The ceremony went on in strict respect of COVID-19 preventive measures, reason why for the first time parents and guardians were not part of the event. UBA's officials ensured that the two schools graduated separately.
We had the ceremony for the Higher Teacher Training College separately. There were about 673 students. For the Higher Technical Teacher Training College, we had a separate event because there are about 973 of them. Tried our best to keep parents away. We are going to go back and maybe look at Faculty of Health Sciences.
At the end of the various phases of the graduation process, UBA would have sent out 5,000 students, amongst them 73 medical doctors, 200 master degree holders and 20 PhD graduates.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Of course, time to talk about our fight against the coronavirus pandemic. The southwest region of Cameroon has recently been hit by an increase in maritime traffic that has also witnessed an increase in the number of coronavirus cases in the region. So, how have public health officials in that region been responding, and what have they been doing as far as the pandemic is concerned? Baldwin Sama, who is live with his guest, Dr. Zacchaeus Ebongo Nanje, at the Public Health Emergency Center, brings us answers. Hello, Baldwin.
Well, good evening to you, Benin Bumagana. This Saturday, a tour of the regions takes us to the southwest region of the country, as we promised last week. And our guest tonight is Dr. Zacchaeus Ebongo Nanje, who is the Southwest Regional Delegate of Public Health. Mr. Regional Delegate, good evening.
Good evening to you.
The Southwest is in the Gulf of Guinea with a high volume in terms of maritime traffic. One modalities have been put in place to avoid contamination, talking about the coronavirus.
Yes, you are correct, Baldwin. The Southwest region has this peculiarity of opening to the Gulf of Guinea with very high volume of maritime traffic and activities like fishing, international trade, petroleum drilling, and also a huge security presence of our forces of law and order. And most of the actors here are multinationals from Europe, Asia, the Americas, and other non-CEMAC countries. And there is therefore a very high risk of importation of diseases. So we have taken measures like the systematic disinfection of all vessels and platforms, and the routine testing of all passengers and crew who land on our various ports of entry in collaboration with the respective corporate medical teams. And it is by so doing that we recently got 8 Asian nationals who were tested positive, and they have been treated, and they are now negative, and they are fit to return to their various countries.
Mr. Regional Delegate, in 2 days, it's going to be school resumption nationwide. How prepared is the Southwest Regional Delegation to accompany the education sector in that part of the country to ensure a hitch-free COVID-19 school year?
Yes, and in line with the multidisciplinary and multi-sectorial approach towards the fight against COVID-19 laid down by the government, we too here in the Southwest region are doing the same. And so we were invited to take part in the recent sector conference organized by our sister ministries of basic, secondary education, and even the delegation of employment and professional training, where all the principals and the regional delegates were tested. And this activity will be decentralized gradually to all the subdivisions and the health districts and divisions of the South region by the divisional delegates. And then those who are tested positive are treated in our various isolation and treatment centers. And also, we want to ensure that all the classes are disinfected and that the social distancing measures are respected in the various learning milieus, that is the classrooms and the schools, and to make sure that all the teachers and staff wear correctly their face masks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zaccheaus Ebongo Nanje, Southwest Regional Delegate of Public Health, for being a guest this evening. We continue our tour of the different regions tomorrow, Sunday, as we take you over to the Northwest region of the country to get a pulse of the situation before we embark on the third lap of our tour to the different regions. Back to you, Benin Bumagana.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama von Kemen. The first set of 165 breed of Haifa cows from France has arrived in the North region to step up dairy production nationwide. The Minister of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries, Dr. Taiga, officially received the dairy cattle in Garoua today. The cattle will eventually be distributed to livestock stakeholders, as we hear in this report by Luisa Akwanka Achato.
This Boeing 747 type cargo plane special flight, the first of 8, touched down at the Garoua International Airport with 165 genetically modified pregnant heifers aboard from Montbéliard in France, representing the coming to fruition of the government's long-standing desire to upscale dairy production in Cameroon, beset by long-standing challenges.
We have not a lot of material to feed those animals. The local breed don't produce enough milk. A lot of problem with the health of animals.
The World Bank-backed initiative worth 54 billion CFA francs equally makes provision for accompanying measures such as upgrading of the breeding expertise of herders, the going operational of already existing dairy production plants nationwide, and ensuring optimal conservation of the heifers reputed for a wide-ranging adaptability to harsh climatic conditions. In this way, the annual average deficit of about 100,000 tons will be offset in about 4 months, the dependence on importation of which costs the government over 30 billion CFA francs in a year.
I call all the breeders involved in this production to be proud and to work with us, work with our French cooperation to build best production in Cameroon.
The actual distribution of the dairy cattle will be preceded by a 30-day-long acclimatization phase at the Lugere Livestock Station in Mayoluti Division. Through the flagship Livestock Development Project and affiliated programs, the nation's dairy sector is thus projected to be upgraded in line with the head of state's second-generation agriculture vision to in turn boost sustainable socio-economic development.
Of course, with the arrival in Garoua of the cows, the implementation of the national strategy for the genetic improvement of dairy cows is now taking shape in Cameroon. This is one of the decisions taken during the forum on the challenges of local dairy productions in 2016 by the Minister of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries, Dr. Taiga. We get more from Victor Siga.
Well done for the dairy sector in Cameroon. The 165 heifers received from Montbéliard, France, come to boost the local order, which has so far been producing just 4 to 5 liters of milk per day. Cameroon, through this agricultural support project, is thus targeting an increase in its milk production. By so doing, this will give a downward trend in terms of milk importation and milk product costs. In other words, the 165 heifers will automatically provide a reduction of the annual deficit amounted to 120,000 tons. The local production, estimated at close to 239,000 tons per year, will be multiplied by 5. That is 1,195,000 tons. Cameroon will therefore have an impact on the national trade balance of 31 billion CFA francs to soften its situation. In exactly 3 months, the country will mark the first liters with a production of 20 to 25 liters of milk per day. A communique jointly signed by the Ministers of Finance and that of Posts and Telecommunication states that the new platform for the digital collection of customs duties for phones and phone terminals has gone operational since October. And as Clarice Areta-Kang explains, the role of importers, consumers and vendors has clearly been spelled out. Her report.
At the heart of the decision contained in Section 7 of the 2019 Finance Law are 3 things: security, responsibility, and conformity regarding customs revenue. The new platform for the digital collection of taxes and duties for phones and phone terminals will have consumers, importers, and business persons working together with mobile phone operators. Mobile phones and iPads could be imported free of customs duties on the basis that the importer pays the said dues. The Customs Administration makes the information available on the platform to avoid double payments. For their part, phones already in use and having been connected to a network at least once before October 1 will be considered cleared. Meanwhile, those in Cameroon temporarily will not be obliged to declare their phones operating in roaming mode. For the consumer, the platform for the digital collection of customs duties on phones gives them the option of periodic or full payments depending on the type of phone. In this vein, therefore, importers and vendors will have to indicate the cleared or not status at the time of purchase. Ensuring applicability of the measures at the Ministries of Finance and of Posts and Telecommunications.
Student auditors at the Advanced Institute of Public Management have been drilled on the reforms in financial jurisdiction in the CEMAC sub-region. The conference had as resource persons professors in public law and finance experts who use the knowledge to edify students on what they have to do once on the field. Emanuela Vemu reports.
Using the works of a Cameroonian author to present the reforms in financial jurisdiction in CEMAC, officials of the Advanced Institute of Public Management want to relay theory to reality for the better understanding of its students.
It's going to guide us much. We have to know that the different legal reforms that have been done to accompany public finances. When it comes to the relationship within the audit bench, the accounts, I am very much interested to see how, after this conference, the situation will be improved.
From professors in public law to financial experts, the resource persons at the conference edified the master students on the situation of the reforms in Cameroon and what needs to be improved upon.
It is the audit court that is in charge of financial jurisdiction in CEMAC, but in Cameroon, we rather have an audit bench of the Supreme Court, which has limitations.
With this exercise, the trainees say they are better informed about the reforms and what needs to be done for their application.
The International Non-Violence Day has been marked by the 10th anniversary in Cameroon with tribute paid to Indian nationalist Mahatma Gandhi, to whom the day is dedicated. Amongst those present are the 150th anniversary of the birth of Gandhi at the Indian High Commission, where most government officials. Charles Ebune tells us more.
150 years on since the birth of the great soul, the great Indian liberator, Mahatma Gandhi, who brought change and partial independence to India through non-violent methods and considered as one of the greatest elements of peace in the world.
Mahatma Gandhi is revered in India, and not only in India but all over the world. His teachings are relevant to the mankind today.
And for the very first time in Cameroon, an Indian High Commissioner celebrates the anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi a global legend in the peace world in the presence of two government officials, the Minister for Post and Telecommunications and the Minister for Commonwealth, Felix Mbayu.
Has been very nice, and government of Cameroon has been very kind enough to issue the commemorative stamp on this occasion.
And the ceremony, for the very first time in Cameroon, organized by the Indian High Commission to celebrate the anniversary of the birth of Mahatma Gandhi, is crowned by a display of Indian traditions by some Cameroonians and Indians.
And it's with that report that we come to the end of this edition of the news. Meet Ataba Zinoman at 8:30. I'll be back here tomorrow. Have a wonderful Saturday evening. God bless you.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing